All right, folks, welcome once again to the SMB Corner podcast. My name is Marvin Smith and got my tech buddy Elia with me back again. And we're talking about today. We had to switch up the subject a little bit because I wanted to interview a hacker today, but things that's going on in the news, I decided to switch it up to something different. Talk about Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. I wanted to get deep into it, find out what's going on, what's the big issue behind it, how it affects the economy basically, and how it affects everybody globally. So before the whole thing happened, maybe 2 weeks before the first missile was fired, the Ukraine's government was hit with a cyber attack, and I'm thinking to myself, what was the reason for that? What was the thought process behind that? Were they trying to retrieve something, keep the Ukraine from communicating with the outside world? And what was the methodology before even firing a first shot? You decide to hit them with a cyber attack first. It didn't really do much damage from what I could gather on the internet. I think it just they were hit with a $10,000 ransom on a few machines, but nothing serious. So that's the question. What is this saying to the world? What is Russia trying to say? I look at it from a history point of view. The Ukraine was part of Russia back many ago before I was born. I see it as Ukraine being a democratic power on Russia's doorstep, just like the U.S. sees Cuba, which is a communist power, basically right at their doorstep. So it's kind of like that. I look at it as, this is a statement from Putin. This is a statement to the world that he's not the one to play around with. He's going to take that country back. Right now, it's fighting still going on. Russia is trying to push heavily into Ukraine's capital city, Kiev. But as far as we know right now, they're still fighting. They're still trying to hold it down, keep Russia out, and that's what we know so far. What's your thoughts on that, Eli?
When I heard about these things, there's a few things that come to my mind because, for one, we never know what Russia is really doing, what the motive behind it. Because when you talk about the cyber attack, I googled it up just a while ago, and a few headers that popped up that say cyber attack hit Ukraine banks and government website. And I'm going to say Ukraine could be hit by a data wiping software as Russia invade. I'm like, Russian back hacker behind powerful new malware. And I started to ask myself, what are you really looking for? Because you don't do things without something that you try to grab or try to acquire. Because remember, there's a lot of sanctions being put in play.
Yeah.
Before Trump lost his election, there were things going on behind closed doors whereby Trump was using his office to help Russia in some kind of way. And I was wondering, what is the information was given to the Russian counterpart whereby they were trying to use that in case they want to do the invasion. They were hoping that Trump would still be in office for a second term, which actually lost. So kind of like they couldn't wait anymore because they're trying to acquire something. Yeah. Until one of my guys, his name is Mandrell, shout out to him, he said something about the semiconductor factory that they have out there that they manufacture. And me, as a tech junkie, when you hear semiconductor, it's like, well, I'm a gamer. So, I build PC. We know big video card requires semiconductor. You know the motherboard requires semiconductor. The cell phone, the TV, the computer, your tablet, your smart devices, all across the board use semiconductor capacitors. So I was like, there's something of what they're trying to do because we know that a lot of these semiconductor manufacturers is mostly in political countries that are more democratic on the side besides China.
Yeah.
That we know. Yes, China do have some deals all across the country because they want to lead them, but there's some sanctions put against them for that. On that purpose, we have Samsung, we have Sony. They're also in the semiconductor races, but they've been in the race for more than 30, 40, 50 years because they've been doing it for long. It's not new. A lot of people have not read up on it. So when you deal with semiconductor, you deal with electronic. When you deal with electronic, you deal with the tech market. How would it shift the dynamic of it? Because already we had to deal with the scalpel with the video cards and everything else, and the chip shortage. That's one thing. Now, when you deal with manufacturing being taken over by dictatorship, then it spells trouble to market price. How would the cost of electronic and devices will be affected by it? And it was something I came across my mind when I heard Joe tell us on our podcast. And I was like, No, that's not gonna be looking good. But he did say that Amazon, if you were to come trying to build your own factory, yeah, you would have built your own factory. When would it come on? 2024, 2025? That's 3 years for. By that time, it already got hit already. You could have started that thing back in the 90s. Why outsource the job? This is something we talk about in the United States.
Yeah.
This country need to be the most productive country in the world back then.
Exactly.
It went from being the most productive country to the most consuming country. So when you consume too damn much, you're not producing anything. You put yourself in harm's way. So you can't get mad if your allies are getting taken over the factory that will affect your market. You need to prepare for yourself for that. Now you get yourself prepared. Like, why wait till the last minute?
Yeah, I think one thing we got to look at is like within any electronics in general, semiconductors are pretty much, the backbone. Semiconductors. Then you got to think about, rare earth minerals, which China controls. Majority of the rare earth minerals, they got a stockpile on that. So now that you're saying that this semiconductor factory is there, that could definitely be another reason why he wants to take over the Ukraine. He wants to make it part of Russia again, because when you control the manufacturing for important tech components, then you could basically raise the price and you can control the market. So that's something to look at.
Yeah, but when you mentioned China on sort of the minerals, I was like, hold up. I said, let me get this correct. When you say minerals, then why China in Africa for that?
That's exactly another thing to think about,
Because I do have connection with people in higher places that I talk to whenever I get the chance to, or whenever they're free to have a conversation with me. And I try to pick their brain to see what is the landscape of what's going on out there. Because there's one big YouTuber named Watermy. He goes across all Africa, showcasing the great wonder of what's going on in Africa. It's not no shithole country like people want to call it as it is, but it's not. But he also knows that there's some African country where China tried to put some predatory loans out there for them to use for development.
Exactly.
Knowing that the company don't have the type of economy to pay them back, but in return to control some of their mineral resource land that produce these minerals so they can harvest it. So I was like, I know Africa is nothing but a huge bank of minerals and resources. Real talk.
Exactly.
So for China to throw all that loans all across Africa, and people didn't catch. I was on one conversation yesterday on the chat room that, what about the United States debt? But China already dumped it during the 2012 election. Nobody caught on to it. Like, this is what I say, people don't read.
Yeah. I mean, in today's society of social media, sound bites, clips, the average person's not going to try to read and dissect information. They're going to wait for it to be kind of just thrown in their face. So, I mean, it is true. China's there in Africa, getting the rare earth minerals. You have all this abundance materials there, but the thing with Africa is that they don't have the proper mining and extraction process to get these rare earth minerals. Now, from what I've read a while back, they're basically stockpiling all these rare earth minerals. They don't want to flood the market because that's going to bring the price down. So they just want to hold on to it because they know as technology becomes more and more, hardware becomes smaller and smaller, there's going to be a need for these rare earth minerals, and they could basically charge as much as they want just for these coltan. I could go on as far as names, but they're pretty much, that's their process. That's what they're trying to do. They're basically trying to stockpile it so they could charge money on it. I don't know what's going to go on with Russia invading Ukraine. Maybe they'll take over the capital city, maybe not. But I keep hearing in the news that the U.S. is hitting them with sanctions. I think between two superpowers, sanctions can't really do anything.
That's the problem.
We know Russia has a stockpile of oil. Russia has their own stockpile of goods. Between two superpowers, you're hitting them with a sanction is not really going to stop them.
And here's the problem. I don't think people caught on to this, but there are a couple of Russian companies in the U.S.
Yeah.
For example, SolarWinds. It's a Russian-made software, but a lot of government use. NYPD use SolarWinds. A lot of corporations use SolarWinds. Yeah, a lot of
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of Russian-based internet security software that in the mix that people are using.
Yeah.
Like you can't play this game and not realize that you're hurting yourself in the long process. That's what I tell people. Like the U.S. corporate America work ethic is so backward, and they think they're so slick, but they're not realize in the long term run you're sabotaging yourself in the process. Because we tech guys, when we out there in the field, we see what we see, we know what we know, and we watch it. Some of us were already predicting these things. Like you have China in your wire, you have Russia in your wire. If one of them pits, you want to remove them all. So how can we remove China and all their hardware or their software? No, especially the hardware. Their hardware is embedded throughout your whole entire network.
Yeah.
We're up and remove them all of a sudden. Like, what sense does that make? You've been in bed with it for how long? Because you outsource all the manufacturing jobs.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all the software building jobs, you almost outsourced it to Russia. You didn't grow your own.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, you feel like you're being betrayed. Oh, we're gonna sanction. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it's just when you look at it right now, it's just between two big superpowers. No offense, I'm thinking to myself, it's just like sanctions are not really going to do anything.
Oh.
Because right now what they're saying is that they're cutting Russia off from the SWIFT network. For anybody who knows, the SWIFT network is basically it's for wiring money back and forth between countries. In this day and age, I don't think SWIFT is still relevant. Some companies and countries still use it. It's still there, but with crypto and things like that, SWIFT network is still. It's not going to do anything to Russia, in my personal opinion.
There's another one.
It's not.
Another company called Aeroflight that Delta Airline partner with. They will disconnect their partnership.
Aeroflight, another Russian company.
Yeah. If you were to Google all the Russian company or businesses that America do business with, you got a long list. What I find it funny, and not a lot of people didn't realize this, the Barclay used to be owned by the Russian oligarch. He completes his sales and gave it to some Asian dude from Japan. I'm not sure. It's Japan or Korea. I'm not too sure. But luckily, imagine you still have access to the Barclay. The Barclay would have been shut down right there and there.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a lot of businesses that's still here and making their money off the American soil that's run by Russia. And people, I'm just looking at it like, come on, let's be logically real.
Yeah.
The politician got bought out. That's number one.
Yeah.
Two, they played a blind eye to corporate greed. Corporate greed was what put us in this situation in the first place. Like I was telling one dude yesterday about the pharmaceutical company about the healthcare system. Yeah, the United States healthcare system is the most expensive healthcare system in the world, but yet it's overrated.
Okay.
Because look at it. This has been heavily documented. Almost every medicine that been manufactured in this country, the cost to manufacture have been less than $2 to $3.
Yeah.
But for them to manufacture it, they require grants, aka taxpayer money.
Yeah.
Our taxpayer money that make the medicines. So once they use our money to make the medicine, they bust the price. I was corrected between 200 to 300 to 900% of the price. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
But they cannot do that in Europe.
Yeah.
They
stricter rules over in Europe regarding healthcare and medicine costs.
You can't.
So I do. Yeah.
You can't overprice over there, but they come overpriced over here though.
Yeah.
Like, who are you playing? And they got with a real stupid talking point. I could not take it no more. I'm like, you cannot come here and say that type of nonsense. It's capitalism, but guess what? He asked me why am I here? To capitalize on your foolishness.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a capitalist society. So guess what? When we here to capitalize on you guys. Don't complain asking why I'm here. You can't get mad when you do the same exact thing too. So when I told I jab at him, everybody was like, yo, I'm like, you want to do the talking point? I'll beat you with the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see you can handle the truth, because you can have your opinion, you can have your talking point, but what's going on in today's world, there's the truth behind it that you're not catching on. You can't be blindsided by it and act ignorant.
Yeah.
You just can't. Like the Russia invasion, semiconductors, that is not only the backbone, that one of the backbone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keyword, the backbone. Every electronic across the board, from the cheap electronic to the most expensive electronic, it's going to be affected by that.
Exactly.
We already have a high market price on every good that we import to the country and export. So on top of that, you have an issue with electronics. Like, come on. How much for the TV going to cost? $3 grand, $4 grand, $5 grand, $6 grand? Yeah, I think with your TV for 20 years before the price drop.
Mm-hmm.
What about your next cell phone?
Yeah.
What about your next refrigerator? Or your air conditioner? Like, you put the list down there, you want to go back to the Stone Age?
No, nobody wants to go back to the Stone Age. I mean, we see it now that you tell me. We already have a chip shortage due to the pandemic. So now that the backbone, we're saying one of the causes could be that he's trying to get a hold of this manufacturing plant. Now, if that happens, I could definitely see the cost of electronics skyrocketing.
And all to the PC builder, hear this.
Yeah.
When the price go too high, forget about building a new PC. Because the motherboard price will go high.
Yeah.
Your RAM will go high. Your processor will go high. The video card is already high as it is. Even though trying to drop, it may go back up again. Every component you need on a PC that require a capacitor, semiconductor, it will go high.
Yeah.
So what we going to put on build a new PC now? Unless you look for old parts to just use for the meantime. Incorporation. Yes, it will be affected too. The Windows migration upgrade. You're going to Windows 11. You need a new PC. All these names come without busting their price. They say, sir, I know we had a backdoor deal here, XYZ, but this ain't hurt us. We need to make our money back, so we charge you extra. I know you don't like it, but what can we do?
Yeah.
You supported us show in your backdoor business. Now they screwed us over, so we need to make our money back. So, and I say all companies do that, but look at the big picture.
Yeah.
Look what happened with corporate greed. It get out of hand. When they get out of hand, who get affected? The consumers.
Exactly. Definitely. Of course.
Unless you go off the grid, then I say, hey, all power to you. You ain't worried about it. But everybody who's not off the grid, they don't have the time to be off the grid.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely respect people who are truly off the grid, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, yes, you could have your own, solar panels on your house and things like that, but I still need the internet. I need to be wired in. I can't be completely off the. And
then a few YouTubers just showcase their life doing it for the past few years. I was like,
it's doable. Yeah, it's doable, but I can't do it.
It's not that you can't do it. The type of society we're in right now, it's almost impossible to pull it off for a long time. You could do it for a couple of years. That is great. But after a while, you got to ask yourself this question: how long you'll keep on pushing it?
Exactly. Yeah.
In the U.S., they try to prevent people from going off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
You can have your own land, technically speaking. It's not really your own land. You just, you pay for it. It still belongs to the government. And if I try to go off the grid, they tell them put some sanction on you or try to take your own land from you. Unless you leave the country and you're out there and you show them how to do it, and if we really feel like this is something going to save them money, they'll join you and do it as well. That's the big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Africa is the perfect place to try to do off the grid or do something completely different. That it can contain them costs, but help them restructure their infrastructure. You can pull that one off, then you good. You the genius. You have a market right there. But the key issue is this. In Africa right now, some African countries are widening up right now. Ghana is in the forefront. They're stopping people from coming to their country, taking the mineral resources, taking out totally fine. They said, no, not happening ever again. You want what you have, you get it from us after we refine it. And this is why since 2011, 2012, they welcome people to come back. Around 2019, William Martin, Unfiltered, went back to Ghana, interviewed the president, showcased what's going on, and they've been doing it for almost a decade. They invited people to come back with their knowledge, their skill, their talent, to be integrated to the country and help build the country from ground up. They're doing an excellent job, but it's not a fast process, but they're getting it. They're trying to ask more people to come. But you're skilled. If I could, and they would have offered me a job or want me to train this student in IT and they'll pay me well, oh yeah, I'll pack up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Get a nice big house. Teach the people the debate of PC and everything and dental to the next level.
Yeah.
And what I would do when you train people to be proper technicians, you better market that compete with the U.S.
Exactly. Yeah.
They've been trying to do that for a long while. A lot of people don't catch on to it. My thing is right now that it's not only Ghana, there's other African countries looking for that type of resources. The thing is black folks can look at it this way. Say, you know what? If I'm a teacher, I can teach people. If I'm a plumber, I can do this. I can teach them better technology on how to do plumbing, and we can do something bigger and better.
Mm-hmm.
This is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
This is a sell pitch. Bring your skills and your talent and your knowledge over there and see what you can make out of it.
Yeah.
Believe me, that is the perfect opportunity for anybody who have been fighting out here to make a foothold in this society, in your skill trade. Take your skill trade over there and see how far you can go with it. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, you could definitely go far when you have when you're fully mastered your skills, your trade that you use to make money in America. You could definitely go far. But the question is just, will you or do you want to do it? That's the thing.
That's a good question, because I actually joke about it. Imagine somebody would take their trucking business to Africa, and we train them how to go about the trucking business and show them the protocol, how to be efficient with it.
Yeah.
Imagine how much money can be generated between multiple African countries and they do business together.
Yeah.
If you work in a refinery factory out here in the U.S. and other countries, take that knowledge over there. Show them how to get it done the proper way to be more efficient, more effective. You'll be surprised how far you will go with it.
Yeah.
Not only you create so much job over there, a lot of folks are saying, no, I need to go back to my country and join the movement. Like, there's no point to be over here. Mm-hmm. I told this thing to my uncle years ago. If you have a smart leader, what you could have done is this. You could have create a sponsorship, send people outside the world to get their education in multiple countries, get their degree.
Of course.
Build their experience. After a certain period of time, you come back, bring that out, and help build the place up.
Yeah.
I was watching this thing called the Queen Empire. That's what people were doing. They would tell their people to be scholars, learn something, be a master of that skill and that craft. Come back, utilize it, and see how far you can go with it. If a lot of the Africans were doing that, you know what would happen 10 years later, what it would look like? It would be a completely switch. So I'm not too surprised. So this Ukraine invasion, I'm just watching each and every day here in the news, but I let me read the articles. Let me see what is really what they're looking for, what they're trying to grab beside these semiconductor factories. There may be something else that we overlook. Because, you know, when it comes to the invasion in modern time, it's something they're looking for and they're lacking.
Yeah. So right now, a lot of Ukrainians, they're trying to pull their money out of the bank, but there's an issue because most banks don't keep a lot of fiat currency on hand to cash out so many transactions. So right now there's a bottleneck with the banks. And again, this is where, crypto comes in. Crypto is free. But again, it's interesting looking at this, like why he started moving his troops into the borders, but why he chose now to invade. There has to be more behind it. So that's the question right now that I'm asking. When you mentioned that semiconductor factory, that opened my eyes. So yeah, it looks like there's more to it than that, and who knows who's going to try to uncover it.
Well, let's be real. There's a lot of embargo that being placed on Russia already before this, and the economy got hurt by it. Their currency is not doing well, but there's something else that they're trying to recover, because the past few years, a lot of Russian oligarchs start to slowly pull their business out to a degree, because there's a lot of investigations have been going around trying to see who connected with Vladimir Putin, who doing that with the invasion in the U.S. Not invasion, but I call it invasion because, for one, they implanted their cell group, a.k.a. Donald Trump. He was giving out information what he's not supposed to do. And I was telling people, you gotta look at the Constitution. If you don't understand the law of this land, and you won't be naive, you be surprised. This man broke a lot of severe laws that it's not no walk in the park law.
Yeah.
And if you've been around lawyers, you have been around lawyers. You can tell, you can see their facial, but when they see what the guy doing in the office, they're like, I don't know how we doing that. They might come back and haunt you right now, because this is not no CEO. All this, say what I wanted to say. They'll believe me and they'll brush it off. They know I'm gonna hold you.
Yeah.
I got the best bank, I got the best food, I got the best steak. It's me, Donald Trump. Don't believe them, believe me. Believe what I tell you. Don't believe what they say. Come on, like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Because I understand there's laws on the books that don't want to tamper on because they know that if you step on this, you doomed.
Yeah.
Snowden, why think Snowden left the U.S.? He understands the laws on the land, what he did. He understands the repercussion behind it. Now,
Yeah.
Trump did something much bigger than him, so I don't think he understands what he did, but if someone catch on to it and then trace the dots and connect them all together, what would happen to his family?
Yeah. That's a good question.
It's a very touchy subject because not everybody watching it with a discerned eye. See, that's the game they're playing, but not everybody's seeing it. My family, I'm a bipolar polygamy family back in my country, and these people have high places in society. But when you observe people who have political pull and what they do, you start to understand the matrix behind it, why they do what they do. So when you come back here and see how the government work, you can start to understand, like, I don't think that was the wise move to make. He made a bad chess move. I was telling people the biggest mistake Trump ever did was run for office. That's his biggest mistake. Even though he was correct back in 1989 about how he would win the office, he was true. He was right about that. But the fact that he put himself in that predicament is like saying, now you enter the realm whereby you can't really protect yourself anymore.
So even as president, he doesn't have the power to. Even as former president, he didn't have the power to protect himself. Interesting.
Understand the law of the land. When you are a private citizen, you're a private citizen. There's some law that will protect you as a private citizen.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get into public office, you just open your door for everybody to pry into your life. To look at everything that you have done in the past, whatever connection you have, they can trace it down in the end. So, the shady character of Donald Trump had a lot of skeletons in the closet that go back 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
The moment you enter public office, you think anyone's not going to, you open the door for them to go behind your back and look into your closet and see what you're dibbling and dabbling.
Yeah.
Every person that runs for public office cannot hide their private life. The government have a connection into your private. They want to make sure you're not doing anything that would jeopardize the United States government and their goodwill.
Yeah.
So, when Trump ran for public office, he let the back door open. So, the outside government office that you know what they do on the investigation, look into outside the inside government office, you don't know what's going on, they can look into it. And they find things that you're doing things that it would jeopardize the goodwill of the United States government, then you do.
Yeah.
And they realize that you did things while you're in office you're not supposed to do, and they did disconnect to reason why you did these things, you do.
Yeah.
So, like everybody on social media talk about, Donald Trump. I look at these people like, you don't really know what's going on behind closed doors, do you?
No.
You don't understand you don't understand the matrix behind all the connections or how the government. United States is a very civilized country for a reason. The thing that they pull off over the many decades, they did that for a specific reason. Unless you understand how government actually works, then you will understand the agenda. If you cannot understand the agenda, then there's stuff I can tell you.
Yeah.
And this is why I tell people, like, I'm not gullible. I read into things. I look at it. I analyze it. At the tech, when I see people purchase certain things, I was like, this is a waste of money. You know, I used to work for UBS.
Yeah.
They're purchasing PCs, whereby they traders think they need two. You don't need two PCs. Get one built, super PC to do both jobs. And I get different than for your user. I get that. But you can still do it on that same PC. When I see what's going on, and we're trying to figure out who are these tech directors. Like, what were they thinking? Are they outdated or something?
Oh, of course. Majority of IT management, their mindset, they have an outdated mindset. They don't understand that technology is evolving without them, and they still stuck in that what I call the 1990 mindset.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo.
So,
you broke it down as I want you to break it down, because when you're not working at UBS and you see the nonsense I was observing, I was like, hey, this for real. I called Peter to the side. I said, Peter, tell me what you see here. Peter was like, are you for real? I said, yeah. Tell me what you see here. He said, this don't make no. I said, of course it don't make no sense. I'm thinking the same. I told you, it don't need me that looking at it that way. And when you're a real tech and you master your craft, you start to catch on to certain things that just stands out, and you scratching your head like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And as you work in the corporate realm longer, you got to catch. It's like, oh man, they're just playing this game. No one catching on. They're playing the okie doke on a lot of people. They could have done things better. Like for me, I got nothing against the cloud service. I got nothing against it. Yeah, that's the next technology. But I ask this question, what about the infrastructure? How is infrastructure this country is? Can it support it?
Well, most data centers are on the East Coast and West Coast. There are data centers like up north towards Canada that way, but nothing towards Midwest. Not that I know of. I'm sure there are probably one or two. They call them probably exchange centers or whatever. But there are no major. All the major data centers are on the East Coast and West Coast. Texas, Pennsylvania, LA, Nevada, out there. Those are where the major data centers are. Nothing too major is in inland, Midwest, nothing like that.
As you mentioned that, when Verizon was going to fiber optic, how long it took them to remove all the cable, replace all the cable for fiber optic all across the country? How long that project was?
Oh, I think, a 5-year project?
But a 5-7 year project, right?
Yeah.
I remember out ITT Tech during that time. Verizon came to my school in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and looked at the hire student to join that project.
Yeah.
So it was a long-term project. Cable splicing, it was being done all across. They need all hands on deck because it was a long-term project. So imagine that it took them that 7 years just to lay the groundwork all across the country for the fiber optic.
Yeah.
Now,
and they're still not even done, to be honest. They're still not even done.
So imagine that part. And the country infrastructure is crumbling already as we speak.
Yeah.
So with a crumbling infrastructure across the country, and you try and go to the next gen of technology, how are you going to support the next gen of technology with a crumbling infrastructure?
True.
I'm being logical here. I'm a tactician. I caught it out. When you watch a lot of Japanese, Chinese programs, you think like a tactician. You try to see the big picture. You start to calculate like, you're not making any sense right now. You pushing the cart before the horse. I look at the infrastructure of this nation, and I'm like, something don't make no sense. We pushing next gen technology, but all across the board, our infrastructure is crumbling to the point it's not supporting the next gen technology. Look at Google with that Stasiac cloud gaming service. Why did it go too far? Why they shut it down?
Because not everybody has the right amount of bandwidth. Like infrastructure.
Say it again. You said right amount of bandwidth. So for you have the right amount of bandwidth, what is needed?
Exactly. Cables, fiber, all that. So data centers too. But the thing about the infrastructure is this should have been tackled years ago. Years ago.
You mean decade ago?
Decade ago. This should have been money should have been allocated towards this decades ago.
Yeah, but Joe Biden signed a bill for that just recently.
Yeah, just recently. And to be honest, I mean,
just for that,
the amount of money that they signed for infrastructure, it's extremely underbid. You can't do anything with that.
I'm glad you said that. Say it again. It's extremely under what?
It's extremely underbid.
So,
like the total amount he signed, that's just gonna crack maybe one third of the whole infrastructure. You still have parts of rural America that still use dial-up. That's not even on a.
Hold on. You say dial-up. Now, to everybody who understand it, what age did dial-up came out from?
What year did dial-up come out?
Now I say age.
What age?
It's school for people. When dial-up first came to existence, what age were we in at that time?
Oh, I was still in my teens when when I knew what dial-up was. I was a teenager.
That's like over 2-3 decades ago.
Exactly.
So when you have part of the country on old technology that's completely obsolete, and you trying to branch out these new technology, tell me how that's gonna work.
Hey, I mean, I don't know. Companies, those companies that are still running dial-up, like dial-up is still needed for certain things, but when it comes to home service, no, you don't need dial-up. Dial-up is extremely outdated.
Even though for certain things, dial-up is not as good as fiber optic, which is highly needed to replace dial-up completely. But the fact that your infrastructure cannot support they fiber optic, but only can support dial-up, that means that you on an outdated technology.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what carrier shut down their 3G network to not support the old device. Yeah, people using old devices on 3G network. And one of the carriers
Yeah.
shut it down.
Yeah, I just heard about this. I think I don't know if it's Verizon or if Verizon is in the progress of shutting down their 3G network. Either Verizon or AT&T, one of those two. Because you don't really need now certain technologies don't really need 3G anymore. You know, everybody talks about like the IoT or whatever. You could still use 3G with that, but there's not a lot of IoT devices. So
when you shut down those type of infrastructure, you have to shut it down, unplug it, unroot it, and make space. Am I correct?
yeah.
I did data wipe jobs whereby I got to remove old server. I did it for Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. When you got to shut down these old servers, you got to pull them out, inventory. It's a long process. You data wiping these servers, make sure that no data on it. After you've done that, you pull out all the drives. You inventory the drives. Make sure you have it on a spreadsheet. We inventory the rack. You put them on a pallet. You got to make sure you proper check before you wrap them up and you ship them out. So imagine all these old technology you got to remove to make space for new technology. How long the process going to be?
Oh, that's going to be a long process. You're talking about, depending on what needs to be done, like at least 2 or 3 years.
Now you get where I'm coming from right now. So while we trying to shoot for the new technology, we have to move the old technology. And look at the process time to both. You talk about years upon years, and by the time you try to get to that next gen technology, they want to put another new next gen again, which you haven't even mastered this one you have already. So tell me how that works when a country going backward. And now you got an issue with semiconductor capacitor issue manufacturing, whereby you're going to need these things. So tell me how it will help with the infrastructure push.
Yeah.
I'm connecting the dot, everything. I'm letting everybody see the big picture. This Ukraine invasion, it's going to hurt things that America required to push for the infrastructure.
Of course.
And they don't have these things to benefit their bill for the infrastructure. You slow the process of upgrading your infrastructure. Like, you got to look at the big picture. These are pieces. You got to think like a general. You got to think like a tactician. Why are they doing certain things? What kind of effect will it go down the chain to come to reach your household? People like, I don't care about the Ukraine. I don't care about the invasion. But you will still care about the price cost.
Yeah, of course.
You will still care that the stuff you need. What if a medical equipment that you need to make sure you keep you alive require those semiconductors?
Exactly. Exactly.
Let me not touch a nerve on that part. There's a lot of things all across the board that in your daily life that you require, that you need, that require a semiconductor.
Exactly.
So as I'm connecting these pictures, that's how I think, that's how my brain works. I see the big picture. A lot of people don't see what I see. So I'm just trying to paint the picture for you people to understand. The invasion might not mean nothing to you, but it do mean something to your daily life.
Exactly.
And what you do and how you make the decision. So when the cost of medical equipment goes up, what happens to the cost of the medical bills?
Goes up. Yeah.
Semiconductor needed in manufacturing and food processing, right? The people that manufacture and produce our food require semiconductors. So when
for the machines,
when you need these new machines to produce these kind of food, or to process your milk, to process your corn, to process your rice, and the machine they have is outdated, and they had it for maybe 10, 20, 30 years, then they remove all the new old machinery, replace with new machinery that require these semiconductors, and the cost of these machinery goes high. What happened to the cost of your food being processed? Just know that manufacturers don't replace equipment all the time. They keep equipment for almost 15, 20, 30 until it's done deal. It's about to die out. And when it's time to get new equipment, what if the new equipment cost goes too high because of the semiconductors? If that goes high, what about your food?
Exactly.
I'm just painting the picture, guys. Don't get mad with me. I'm painting the picture so you guys can see why you should be concerned about this invasion thing going on. They're the big picture.
Exactly. You gotta It's like you definitely gotta look at the big picture when it comes to anything like this, because stuff like this affects everybody. You may think like, oh, this has nothing to do with me, but physically it has nothing to do with you. But when you look at the global economy, it does have something to do with you.
I tell people
So,
that. I'm glad you said that. I
yeah.
tell people this. If you look at every electronic you have in your household, look behind it. Where they say it was made, either made in China, either made in Taiwan, or made in Japan, right? From your fridge, from your deep freezer, from your stove, from your microwave, from your air fryer, from your blender, your Ninja Turtles, your NutriBullet, your TV, your DVD player, your PlayStation, whatever, right? Everything requires a semiconductor capacitor.
Yeah.
It's going to affect your livelihood. So, not only that, all the equipment in the hospital, in the banks, in every place you go to, the register, semiconductor. The
Yeah.
stove, semiconductor. Your microwave,
Ex-
semiconductor. So we go on, let me connect all the dots so you can see where that lead to. That's what I asked you. Are you going to go back to the Stone Age? So, as I was saying,
Yeah.
as you connect all these dots together, what that lead to? Your cost of living going to go up tremendously because of this invasion.
Exactly.
That if the U.S. is not buying these semiconductor capacitors from the Ukraine. They got an issue with China with the bust price. How much are they getting from South Korea and all the other backs? Right? They getting enough or they need more? Everything is connected to something that will affect your daily life.
Exactly.
The buses that we get on, these MTA buses, the cars that you get on, they require semiconductors.
Exactly. These electronic emissions regulated buses, they're all run by computers.
And then new computer requires semiconductors. So
Exactly.
if they need these semiconductors in order to get it from Ukraine, not from China, not from South Korea, what happened to the prices on your bus fare, on your subway fare, or you're trying to buy a new car? Forget the chip shortage now. You got semiconductor shortage. What happened to the price on the cars now? You'll get a horse and carriage?
Nah, nobody wants to go back to that. So
Hey, I'm just painting the picture. I'm just being an artist right now. I'm not being a tech right now. I'm being an artist. So I'm painting the big picture so it connect all the dots. Sometimes you had to talk this way to get people to start to think and realize, they're going to affect me in the long run. A lot of these things going to mess up my livelihood. Like, we'll talk. Like, what the heck is going on? You think it's not going to affect you, but it definitely will going to affect you. When I tell people about the trade war, is affecting everybody. The price of grocery went up. The price of food went up.
Yep, definitely.
The community cost went up. Everything required, whatever product you're using. Gasoline, soybean, milk, corn, whatever. Import, export. All these things going to affect you. And now that the main backbone that affects every aspect of our livelihood, this is why I said this is the most biggest consuming country in the world whereby we're not prepared for these kind of things. China was prepared for this. Japan was prepared for this. South Korea was prepared for this. Singapore, they manufacture their stuff so they can level the cost down to a bit.
Exactly. Yep.
The European nation, in some place, they prepare for it, so they can bring down the cost to a bit. The U.S. was not prepared for it because, you know why? They was outsourcing all the job to everybody else. You don't need to manufacture. You just make it for us. We didn't buy it from you. But when you don't have your own homegrown, and this affects you, and corporate greed, the politician being bought off by the corporate greed, it's going to affect your livelihood. That's why the election, your vote matters. Know who you're voting for. Because maybe they're going to rip you off or protect your pocket.
Yeah.
It's going to affect you guys. I'm sorry. I got to give you the public announcement speaking, connecting all the dots, connecting the pictures. At the tech, I have to see the big picture. My job is to find solution for a problem. To find solution, you have to diagnose the problem. Am I right, Marvin?
Yeah.
That is true. We had to diagnose the problem, see what the problem is, and see how we can fix it. And take notes. Sometimes the problem can be fixed quickly. Sometimes the problem can take a long process to get fixed. But you know why? There are different factors to the problem. You have to fix a certain branch of the problem.
Yeah.
If you cannot fix a certain branch of the problem at the tech, the whole big picture of that issue to be working will still be a problem. Do we do after tech for a living? We work out there. Everybody think it's so easy. No, it's not easy. You have to be on your P's and Q's.
Exactly.
So at the tech, we act like doctors because we have to diagnose the problem first before we fix the problem. When we know what the problem is, you have to figure out the solution, how to fix it. When you find out the best solution for the problem, you have to execute the solution.
Yep.
To execute the solution, you have to figure out you need to fix this branch of the problem or you're going to fix that branch of the problem. Which one comes first? Because you got to do whatever you want because you got to fix them step by step. When this branch is fixed, I can fix the next branch of the problem. When this branch is fixed, I can fix the next branch of the problem. Guys, it's Tech 101 about being a real tech. We have to learn how to diagnose the problem first, find a solution, now fix the problem, then try to execute it in the best of your ability. Because sometimes you get roadblocks that prevent you from finding a solution to the problem. So this invasion created an incident ticket. Not a request ticket, an incident ticket.
An incident ticket, yeah.
Now, in an incident ticket, there are multiple people going to put on the ticket to fix these problems. Who will fix this part? Who will fix this part? Who will fix this part? Who will fix this part before the incident ticket be resolved? Sometimes the ticket lasts for years to be fixed.
Exactly.
SLA.
Yep.
Hello. I know, Bobby. You know me.
Nah, man. That's good.
When I paint the picture, people think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. I'm trying to let you know how we tech work in corporate America. Our job are not easy.
Yeah.
We part of the backbone. We doing the dirty work. While everybody looking clean, looking cute, looking fly, and everything, we sometimes go under desk. We gotta go into closet. We gotta do all. Sometimes it's a 5-man team. One guy's here, one guy there, one guy here. We walkie talking each other. You check the port on this end. That port worker can well check here.
Yeah.
This what we do for a living.
Exactly.
Sometimes it takes almost all hands on deck. Sometimes I gotta go to another area and find out what's wrong with that server. That's not up and running. Call the other guy in the next location. Make sure they have a backup server running.
Yeah.
It's the job of a tech. We part of the backbone fixing everyday issue that if something goes down, we will one responsible to get it up and running.
Exactly.
So when we have these conversations, we're here to educate you guys because you think it's not a big deal. It is the big deal because when it comes to semiconductor, on what even my keyboard, I got LED, use semiconductor.
Exactly. That's what it is. Stuff like this affects everybody. I mean, even right now, like the U.S. economy is the stock market itself is basically been taking a hit since the first missile fired.
And you know that all the tech companies got hurt the most?
Yeah, of course.
All the tech company. You see the stock just went, whoop. We're like, oh, because you know why? They realized something. This guy is messing with their money. Yo, Putin, why don't you chill out? What's wrong with you? You messed in our pocket now. Now we got to figure out how we going to deal with this part of the end of our business.
Yeah.
You know we burn out our tech. Our tech are burnt out. They want to quit their job. They can't take it no more. We got too much.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyone who's been a tech, who check their tech queues, they have a whole bunch of tickets, and there's some tickets unfixable, and we keep telling the boss, well, we need more hand on this. I can't do it by myself. We need a whole team to do, like, come on. So you see all the tickets, you see other task behind the ticket that we got to resolve, and one of the tasks, y'all blocking us like.
Exactly.
This is a big, massive incident ticket right now.
It's a big, massive incident ticket.
So how are you going to resolve this ticket right now?
That's the question. That's the question. I mean, right now, Ukraine, they're not part of the EU. They're not in NATO. But if Russia takes Kiev, what now? So they're on the borders of NATO countries. What now? That's the question. That's the next level of the ticket. What now? So yeah. And right now, I don't believe every American wants to go to war with Russia. That's not going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but right now we're not even a stable country to go to war.
I know. Trump is not ready to go to war.
Yeah, we're not even ready.
And that's what I was talking about, because as I was painting the picture for everybody to understand, to see the big picture. And I know a lot of people will be feeling kind of hurt right now, because as I connect all the dots all across the board, they're not realizing, they're going to affect your livelihood, because they're to the internet ticket that not even your economy can fix it for you. Mm-hmm. Or you have to tighten your pocket. It's not going to help you fix the problem, because you can't stop them from busting the price to make up for the loss.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. And it's not like they'll go back to all these old electronic and start pulling out competitors. Let's be real.
No.
Not every competitor is recyclable. Hello.
Exactly. That is true. So that is true.
Different voters, different range. You can't redo the whole thing because once that thing is done, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
If you recycle, you be recycling for something else, but we're not going to be what you think it is.
Yeah.
But this is where people need to comprehend the building block of how your society is being built on.
That's true. That is true.
History lesson 101. I'm a black nerd for a reason. I support black nerd, but we need to be knowledgeable and wide about what's going on around us.
Well, of course. Of course.
So when I see certain things happen, like you said, what the reason behind this thing? Why are they doing this? What's the purpose behind it? Is it going to affect my livelihood? Is it going to affect my decision making? Did I cut things off?
Yeah.
To save extra dollars? Did I have to sell my car? Go horseback riding all of a sudden? Horse and carriage?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying everybody going to do it, but if the cost of cars go up because then they make up because they don't have enough capacitor to put into the car to make it run. We're not using analog. No, let me think people understand it. The analog cars are gone.
Oh, of course.
They are long gone.
They're long gone.
Every car in America need a capacitor, need some chip for it to run.
Exactly.
So your car either is semi-electronic or fully electronic.
Yep.
Either way, it still need a capacitor, it still need a chip for it to run. So you have a big family, you want to commute your family from one end of the country to another end of the country. The planes, should I go on? Should I add on to the plate? Because you cannot overlook these things. You just can't. This is not it is the big deal because it will affect your livelihood.
Yep.
There are business being done behind closed doors that you don't know about that particular company they manufacture for us that we need to keep our livelihood going. When that is taken out of business due to greed, what did the corporate head going to do? That could be a big loss in their pocket. They may have lost maybe a couple of million, a couple of billion, and they don't like that. But who they going to turn to get the money back?
Mm-hmm.
Us.
Consumers,
we are the consumer. We pay for those services. We pay for those goods. We need to understand and not neglect the news, what's going on around you, because at the end of the day, you say it's none of your business. Then when things have to go, you say, yo, why they bust the price for? Why the price so high? You forget the chain reaction that happened a few weeks ago that came down to this. It's like a double.
The gas.
I'm saying, when everybody overlooked the invasion, it's not no big deal to them. But a few weeks later, everything goes up again. And you get mad. You asking why they're waiting the price, but you forget that's a chain reaction. It's like a domino effects. Everything affects something else that's being put out there. Services and good in this country are connected to so anything that we don't know about. Because a lot of us don't want to read. A lot of us don't want to do our research.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't do our homework. And you wonder why thing goes up. This is why it goes up. Because if you're not prepared for these things, if you're not aware of these things, what do you think going to happen next?
Yep.
We're not talking about the invasion for political. We talk about invasion on the technical aspect of things. This is a big deal on the technical aspect of things because it does affect my monitor use capacitors. My keyboard, my mouse, everything in my house, the TV, the tablet my kid use capacitors.
The router for your internet uses capacitors.
The
network router back at the cable service uses capacitors. So
your smartwatch use capacitor. Like, come on, can we?
Smartwatch uses capacitors.
Shall we go on? Like, come on. The subway train use capacitors.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
When you use your tap, your Metro card to tap in, these capacitors. Like,
capacitors, yep.
What are they bust the price for the subway because of that? Do anybody really understand the big pictures? Like, really, like, this invasion gonna mess up everybody's livelihood all across the board, either you like it or you don't.
Yeah. So right now we're just sitting watching. We're hoping that Russia gets pushed back, but if they don't get pushed back and they take Kiev, then I don't know. The question is, who's gonna solve this big incident ticket?
Please. I would say this. Do not put the internet ticket in my queue. I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
You put it in my queue, I'm suing you. So I am not trying to fix this issue. This beyond my pay grade, okay?
Yeah.
And that's why I use internet ticket. I'm trying to give you people the terminology we use as technicians. We do these things on a daily basis as techs. And when we go in every day, what we are fighting against, what we're dealing to resolve, these are things that are connected to many aspects of our life. And we understand that. This is why we do this for some of us are passionate what we do, because we learn more as we go. We keep our brain active.
Mm-hmm.
You keep the brain juice going. Start to analyze, start to understand. Yet I like to talk, but I talk from a purpose. I talk for a reason, because if you don't comprehend what's going on around you, it's hard to explain it. I find a very artistic way of explaining things and connecting the pieces to the puzzle, because people think this is just some joke. This is not a joke. We're in the computer age, guys.
Yeah.
And this computer age requires chips and capacitors. You are screwed.
Yep. Exactly.
You cannot go backward now.
Nope. It's too late to go backwards. You can't even go backwards if we wanted to.
You guys on social media, you need your capacitor, you need your chips, so you are affected by it. We've been assimilated to the computer age already, as it is. We got a small part left with today's society to completely cover with computer age. Other than that, there's no going backward now. So this is going to affect your livelihood. Either you like it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're watching the news, you can hope and pray that don't go further than what it is, because if it goes further than what it is, then what next?
Oh, yeah. If Russia takes Kiev, then I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, because right now you're occupying another country that's sitting on the borders of NATO countries. So for people who don't understand NATO, it's European allies that the U.S. is part of. Now, if you attack a NATO country, then the U.S. has to respond because they're an ally. And once the U.S. responds, then, hey, military forces got to be full military might has to be rolled out to that nation.
I didn't look at the definition. NATO means the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. These are multiple countries that came together and make a treaty. The treaty first came to play during the Nazi era.
Yeah.
When Germany was a Nazi and they were talking about ruling the whole world, NATO came together to fight back against that.
Yep.
So that's one of the origins of NATO, to keep the world intact and control the chaos to a T. Because all across the world, everybody want peace. They don't want no They don't want no madman going bonker in his head. Oh, I want to rule the whole world with an iron fist. No, we don't want you. We don't need you. Like, hello.
Nah, that's not good for the economy right now. Right now, every nation is so intertwined with each other as far as goods and trades. Nobody wants to see another World War III. It will be total devastation.
You like your ramen noodles, right? The ramen noodles not made in here.
yeah. Your ramen noodles are not made here, so that comes from another country.
All your exotic food that's not based in your country, it's not
exactly.
It comes through something, so you can't play this
through something. Yeah, so you can't be naive to say, oh, stuff like this doesn't bother me, or it has nothing to do with me. Like, countries are so intertwined, trade and goods.
What?
It's like having something like this is just bad for the global economy.
Even African countries understand the significance behind it, and they say, like, dude, we don't need this headache right now. Like, go to bed and sleep. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I had a guy was saying, this guy need a girl. He need a girlfriend or something. Maybe that's why he's acting the way he's acting. I was like, he need a whole lot of girlfriend to calm him down, because this right now is no regular thing.
But the question that you got to keep asking yourself is like why now? Why? What's the significant importance? Like, you're willing to go to war with other nation states just to occupy this one sovereign country.
I could think of one thing. Maybe they lost the Winter Olympic.
Oh.
they didn't get a lot of gold medal. They got caught in a lot of scandals and kind of like picked them up. Maybe.
No, so they couldn't go under the Russian flag for the Winter Olympics.
They went under ROC, ROC.
Yeah, they had to go under something else.
The Russian Olympic Community. I was like, oh, ROC?
Yeah.
I thought it was ROC like, I was like thinking that one. I was like, okay, it's another different kind of ROC. Now this way JD can sue them. Yo, you took my name in. Come on. ROC is my name, man.
Yeah.
If I was JD, sue Russia.
If you had the money to sue Russia, but yeah, it's just, why now? What's the significance of this sovereign nation? Like, why are you willing to go to war just over over this? Like, what's the strategic behind it? So, but this is not good for the economy.
And that's why I tell people, you cannot be naive.
Yeah.
We're not in the age that you have to put it to be naive. Everything that goes on around us, you have to pay close attention. When you pay close attention, you need to understand which are these politicians protecting your best interests, or they're playing you for a fool. That's what I've been saying for 20 years. We black folk, we don't take our vote very serious.
Oh, no, we don't.
And you think it's no big deal, but guess what? Everything connected. When you don't vote in the right person into office, they allow these corporations to get away with these things because they're not being held accountable for. You start putting the right people in office all across the board, and they start putting particular law that hold these corporations responsible and accountable, then you wouldn't be having these jacked up prices.
True.
Everyone talk about capitalism, you could capitalize, but when your life is on the line, you don't want to capitalize on your life, do you? We'll talk.
Nah, I totally hear what you're saying, man.
And
it's all about you could be a capitalist first and foremost, but when it comes to your life, you got to think about that first also. So
I'm not trying to be a capitalist. I understand by doing the proper. I want to be a good businessman who's not about to use people for the sake of making money off them, because that's unethical to me. That's being dirty and grimy. I cannot do that. That's why I have to tell you, I love what I do for a living, because as I learn things, I can help people down there who don't got the money these corporate people have, and just bring down the cost for them and teach them things so they can pass down to the next generation. I believe in educating my customers more than they can pay this and this walk away and because when you educate them more, you get their intention. They'll come back and ask you questions. What can I do if I want to get? I think there you go. We can have the conversation, and I can educate them. I can keep my business going. They'll be my ongoing customers. It won't be no wham bam thinking, man. They understand when you do business with me, you learn something from me as well. They come educational.
Exactly.
I try to build that dynamic because it's not an easy dynamic. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy. Not everybody thinks the way I think.
Yeah.
I'm not the typical technician, so I'll just keep it like that.
Yeah.
I like to have conversation, but also get your mind working again. It's good to have conversation because when you have these type of intellectual conversation, you keep your brain active and keep you away from Alzheimer's disease. It happens to people who don't have less active minds. Yeah,
that's true.
So you have a very active brain. It keep your body active, keep you going, keep you thinking, keep you moving, keep that juice flowing.
Yeah.
So I am a thinking man. I like to think about a lot of things. I like to analyze things. I like to see the big picture of it. What would it lead to? It keep your thought going. I don't want to be like, well, I don't care. No. I need the brain working. And as long as the brain keep on moving, it keep me alive.
Yeah.
When you have a less active brain, then you want to die quickly. That's what you're trying to tell yourself. Like, I'm just being real. I got a grandma who had a friend who was a professor, and she cannot forget nothing. Her brain is severely active. She said she read a lot. I'm like, whoa. In the 80, in the 90, and she talked normal. She's not forgetting nothing. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Real talk. I want to be just like her too. But you gotta keep the brain working. Keep the juice flowing.
That's it. I mean, you can't rely on TikTok and social media for your news. You gotta get your news from other sources now.
I tell this. I support William Martin on Federal for 3 Encounter. I pay $50 a year every year. This man is building his news network to a level of integrity. And as he's growing his news network, he's hiring people, he's hiring staff workers. He showed his one control center. I was like, man, I wish he reached out. I want to build a nice PC for him. If he give me the business, let him build you a multi-app PC that will support your network. If it's liquid cool or air cool, how you want, I got you. Build you a beast. So you come back to me the next time, I can build you another beast.
Yeah.
Hey, I want that business too. I build PC. And when somebody can hear me I'm talking about this thing, I'm like, sir, when I'm throwing that PC, I get a team. We come together. We build you a beat for your network. You want to continue to expand. We want to build a server for you? We can build your data server. Get a big computer case. What we want to do, we here. Support black business. Hey, we here. It's what it is.
Yeah.
So I like to be part of something big that is growing.
Yeah.
The way I support William Martin on Filter. Some people don't understand. William Martin ain't pop. He's a journalist. My uncle was a journalist, okay? And I know what a real journalist look like and feel like.
Yeah.
And walk like and act like. When I watched my uncle in Nigeria when he was a journalist and the way he carried himself with integrity, I thought that to William Martin. Other people would want to say what I want to say. I like, no, you don't watch him every day. If you watch him every day, then you understand what I'm talking about. You just pick and choose what you want to watch and say, oh, he didn't. No. Watch him on a daily basis. Watch what his news network does, then you understand what I'm talking about. That is real black news. Keep you informed, keep you educated. Education is key. This is why you keep your brain running. My wife used to get married, or you want to play Willie Martin, but you don't realize you learn something every day from watching Willie Martin Unfiltered. There's something you don't know. You're not going to realize you're going to need it for your everyday life.
Yeah.
This man decided to turn his news network into an educational program behind closed door without you even realizing it. When you start to watch, he break down things for you to understand the laws of the land, the thing why certain businesses can do what they do, why they did these type of things. He break it down for you to understand how they operate. If you don't understand how they operate, you don't know why they did things to you, why they charge you a high bill for. Like, come on. No one want to do their homework these days. Everybody think they know everything to social media. Social media job is to keep you dumbed down. Keyword. I am exposing the truth. Social media is out there for one purpose and one purpose only, to dumb down society. Once they accomplish that, they make the money off you. Real talk.
Yeah.
I used to work for a social media company back in the yesteryear, collarclub.com. That'll be another conversation to get to break it down. I used to work with them. And when they had their brand, but social media is built from that platform, that infrastructure, how it works, and you like for something much bigger than what it is. As long they dumb society and people not catching on to it, they made their money off you. They're controlling you. They're playing you for a fool. And you don't get it because, you know why? You don't do your homework. You don't have an intelligent comment. You don't dissect the information properly.
Yeah.
You're becoming gullible. When you become gullible, what can you do?
Yeah. You just continue to be gullible.
Man, I'm just throwing out so much German knowledge right now. It's not even funny. I don't know what to say right now, because I think I just broke down everything about Ukraine and all the connections that it leads to. Because have you watched every day?
I mean, since this whole thing started, I've been watching every day. So, but what continues to baffle me is just why that cyber attack before the first missile launched. That's what's getting me.
But thing is, not that the cyber attack, they send out data wiping software. Why are you wiping people data for?
Exactly.
What are you trying to do? We know that when you wipe somebody's data, it shut down functionality of certain systems, certain hardware from working a certain way. When you're doing that, you trying to reformat it to your own purpose. So why are you doing that for?
Yeah.
People don't really pay attention to these things because they feel like it's none of their business. Yeah, but when it affects your livelihood, and when a purchase, it costs too much money, it all go back to what you didn't pay attention to.
Yeah, but I've definitely been watching. I've watched the markets take a hit since this whole thing started. The only thing that's doing really good right now is the crypto markets. But
for now,
I think for now. So,
but they took a dip a while ago.
Yeah, they took a dip before this whole thing started.
Because other country like I don't think it's China, but it may be China, but another country was cracking all the crypto farms and shutting them down.
Yeah, it was China. But the issue behind that is they're rolling out their own cryptocurrency anyway, so that's why they shut down most of those crypto farms. But a lot of those crypto farms actually came over to the U.S. That's another thing I want to talk about next week with like states and tech startup companies. A lot of those crypto farms actually came over to the U.S. and they're operating in the U.S. in crypto friendly states. So it's
that'd be a cool conversation to get into, because I think you should do this every weekly thing now, the tech talk thing, because there's so much.
I'm going to do this every weekly now
because there's so much information that people are not catching on to. And they think they know what they're doing. They think they know what's going on. They have no clue about it. And I do my best to simplify it. Yeah. I was doing a few minutes ago, I was painting the picture, connecting all the dots to why this invasion is going to affect your livelihood. This is real talk.
Yeah.
You can't overlook these things, because when you overlook these things, then you wonder why your milk costs so much money. You wonder why your food costs so much money. Your clothes cost so much money. When you want to ship out stuff out there and it costs so much. Everything is connected. You can't do nothing about this.
Goods and services and trade are so interwoven into our society, into every country's society right now. It's like you just don't even understand how interwoven is that it's connected.
It's like a wave or string getting pulled in different directions. If you pull one string the wrong way, every other thing get affected by it. Until people understand that concept, then you realize certain things are happening for a reason. That's why I tell America need to get back into producing things, not trying to be a consumer country. The more you continue to consume, the more debt you acquire. The more debt you acquire, let's be real talk. When people start to quit jobs and no one want to work, you can't force somebody to work, can you?
No, you can't. You can't force somebody to work.
And you make it hard on us because already at Tex, they compounding our job. They compounding our titles. They want to do 3 different sets of job that 1 or 2 men would be with our skill set, while the other is not in our skill set and expect to learn on the fly. That's called burnout.
Yeah, the IT industry has been doing that since what I want to say early 2000s.
Yes,
maybe late 1990, 98,
early 2000s,
where like one technician has to take on multiple roles because it's you look at it as it's a good thing and a bad thing. One, if you become good at that new set of skills, your pay goes up. But the downside is you actually closer to being burnt out now. IT burnout is real.
It's real.
Like I've seen it. I've seen people go through it. That's one of the things like that I really dislike about this industry is like people pile on so much work onto one person where that person gets burnt out. That's definitely getting it. I want to do a definite show about that.
Yeah, we need to talk about it because I know a young guy.
Burnout.
I know a young guy. He's younger than me in Antilla. You know the guy was so bored from the level of stress he got. I thought the guy was older than me. He got a bald head from the stress built up on all the type of workload on him. I was like, wait, they stretch that to your hair fall out?
Yeah.
You see my hair right here? You know why I'm doing all this? I'm letting people know I'm in my 40s. I'm loving my hair. Full blown hair. I ain't got no bald spot. Y'all look at my hair. There's no bald spot in my hair. I got full blown hair.
Yeah.
I ain't letting nobody stretch me out to the point where I start to lose hair. That is crazy. But IT burnout is legitimately real.
It's real.
It's real as hell. And it's not a good thing. There are people that couldn't take it no more and they quit IT altogether. I'm not gonna do it. I'll do another different type of trade.
Like IT is the only field, like when it comes to IT and companies, like companies will give certain professions sabbaticals, but they won't give IT professionals the ability to take time off because it's just not part of the whole dynamics. Like we need more time off than anybody else because the level of thinking and work we've got to do is 10 times greater than anybody else.
When you're an IT tech, you're thinking like a damn computer, your damn self.
Yeah.
Your mind is too connected to your work to the point whereby even though you finish on a Friday, you're still thinking about that same issue all the way to Monday. So it's time to figure out a solution to the problem. And that's why I say, it keeps your brain active. But some people cannot take that level of stress.
Nope.
It leads to severe mental health.
Yep.
Some people break down and just lose it. This is real talk. IT burnout is a huge crisis that have not been talked about in ages right now.
Yeah.
It have not. Now you have all the mental health crisis and people are talking about a lot, but they have no clue about IT burnout, one of the biggest contributor to mental health issue.
Yeah.
They're one of the biggest. Real talk.
One of the biggest. Real talk. IT burnout is real. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it happen to people. It's definitely real. But next episode, what we're going to talk about is we got to talk about New York City not being the city for tech startups and tech companies. Nah, man. New York City it's not what it used to be.
I called it out more than a decade ago.
Yeah.
Remember I told you about all this when we were working at UBS?
Yeah.
I called it out. It's not meant for this. This is the financial headquarters. They cannot be the tech headquarters.
Yeah. This is not for tech companies. It's not there's no resources here. If you're a financial company, then New York City is for you. But if you're a tech company, New York City is not for you. All right, folks, that's it. We'll be back next week. We're doing this on a weekly basis. So please like, share, and subscribe. Elia, where can they find you?
I got my YouTube channel called The Canadian Born Nigerian. You'll find me on YouTube. I know I got one in the video. I need to find me a video editor to help me out with my page. But either way, it's fine. I'm trying to get the audience because even though besides tech, I talk about other topics as well. But tech, I'm so deep in this thing, I can talk for days, for weeks, for months, break things down for people to understand because it's needed. We need to educate our people more what's really going on in behind closed door because they think it's so no, it's not no fancy dandy. It's not something simple like you think it is. There are too many moving pieces and parts in this. This is why we do this for a living. And physically speaking, you need to have the physical strength to do this type of job because you can't come out the tech being lanky and weak. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah.
You see some of the heavy equipment I had to pull out?
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I was there on those projects too.
Come on.
So
why they don't call me Black Hawk in that project? We were working together. I was like, server rack, 800 pound worth of PT in an iron caddy. I gotta pull like these happen for real.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember those days pulling out a Cisco unit, dude. Yeah, that's gonna be for another episode.
Let me not spit out. We will hold it for the next episode because man, we got a lot to share for these folks. We got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot, man. We got a lot. So you can find me on my YouTube page, Nexus Cloud Inc., Twitter, Nexus Cloud Inc., Instagram, Nexus Cloud Inc. If you're looking for IT consultation, you could email me at info@nexuscloud. I'll get back to you and like, share, and subscribe. We're coming with more stuff, more stories, and we're giving you the real.
I'm looking for a video editor for my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? We did try to start something big, you know what I mean? But I want to be able to impact people in a bigger scale. But we try to little by little because we need a type of conversation to have. And you want people who understand when you come in with a join the panel, let us know. Give us your story. Let us hear what you went through in your arena at the tech, so we can bring awareness what's going on. Because once you can educate the masses, they people understand how our career is really, really important. It's no joke.
Yeah.
And maybe we can change the price for how they're paying us. You never know.
Oh, of course. All right, folks. We'll be back next week.